From the mysterious world of Hyrule, Ganon has sent out a randomized force throughout the land. 4 brave souls have offered to join us in their journey, and is now being broadcasted directly to the comfort of your home as we say good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's ALTTP Daily Race here on Speed Gaming number 4. Today we have ourselves Ambrosia. And I'll be explaining what the Ambrosia meaning is in a little bit, as we have Illest, Calvin919, Shareen, and IE Flowers on our our racers today. And I'm Professor Redner, and joining me is a tracker that you might be familiar with, and now taking the commentary role, Ednar. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing superb. So, Ambrosia mode. This is a standard assured sword seed, or casual, where the Unc will tell you at the start of the game where the Bouts location is going to be, and every and all bosses will have an item on the boss and not a dungeon item. So you'll more likely be seeing a bunch of people will go out of their way to get the item off of the boss if they know if they can clear it. And that's kind of the route that I take as well. And we should be getting underway pretty soon. The flag has been dropped, and we'll be seeing the go-ahead pretty soon. So what are you expecting today out of this race, Ednar?
Well, honestly, one of the big things I'm hoping that we do not see is, honestly, I would like to bypass AGA 1 if we possibly can, and nothing on pedestal. I know, chat may absolutely love seeing, those ped runs. I personally like to avoid them, especially when I'm running myself. So, what about you?
Can't say I blame you. Can't say I blame you.
What are you hoping to see from this run?
Execution and a bunch of tricks as we are underway here on Speed Gaming number 4. The Bouts are going to be located in the Dark World.
Oh, and the Moon Pearl right off the bat.
A very nice start for Calvin and the crew, leading the reins here as we get underway here on Speed Gaming number 4 with a Moon Pearl directly going on. We have our map check, Vanilla Green Pendant, and the 5/6 crystal on Desert Palace, with Tower of Hera being a normal crystal.
That's a nice start. Having the 5/6 personally over at DP, I absolutely love it. The only thing, of course, that would be a little bit difficult is if they get mirror Titans, or if they get the book completely late game and then it's forced, minutes upon minutes back.
Definitely. And we got some money to start to also continue along the track. Uncle giving out 50 rupees, while the secret chest gave it out 20 big ol' rupees there, as we make our way into the front of Escape for everyone else. A standard seed, for those who are not familiar, is the typical ALTTP run that you will expect to do. You go down, get outside Link's house, drop down into the secret well, or the secret drop down, get the item off of Uncle, check the secret chest as well, then make your way over to Zelda and bring her to the sanctuary, and you are good to go. Right, first chest of the front of Escape is going to be a heart piece.
Early game, heart pieces are really, really nice because that kind of helps you a little bit later, whether or not you go into the Dark World right away. And then if we have to see Thieves Town, while, people do have, and I'm sure that these runners have that fight scripted with blind, just having the extra heart pieces just makes things a lot easier in the run.
Definitely. Now, as we're going through the Escape, a lot of the runners will be trying to expect they're expecting to find the map in the chests coming up here, because if they don't find a map, they will have to be aware that they will have to they're going to have to know that the sanctuary chest has the map, as it's part of the escape area.
Yeah, so I think on the way out, one of the things that we're definitely hoping for, so we don't have to double dip back into the sewers at least, is at least one bomb. So are we going to see them actually farm up for the bombs, or are we going to see them just say, you know what, After I hit the village, we're just gonna go for bombs afterwards. What do you
It's
think
also
on that one?
It's also entirely possible that we will be finding bombs in the back of Escape, or the front of Escape, rather, as well as Dark Cross. Zelda's Cell only having a heart container, so the first hearts of the game. So that's nice to have at the very early ports of the game because you're going to be very vulnerable with 3 hearts to work with. And yeah, I'm hoping to find some bombs, as we did find a key, the Dark Cross key, at the second chest of the front of Escape. So more likely than not, that we will be finding something in finding an item somewhere down the road in the Dark Cross.
Yeah, so the Dark Cross, even though it could be just the map, just by if you think about the numbers and what it would potentially have, we know at least one of the boxes, one of the chests contains a map. We know that absolutely for certain. So now that we know that we have a possible 3 items that we can get anywhere, which is why it's very crucial that we would love to see bombs right away.
Definitely. And Ellis taking the lead here as we're going into the sewers, heading over to Dark Cross, and potentially if we find bombs, go into that bag of Escape. And I don't know if I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard people saying that it's possible that, like, through a standard, you have a higher shot of finding the prize pack that contains a bomb in there. I don't know if this is accurate or not. I want to believe it's not, but it's possible that we could find bombs here within the back of us through the ropes, the keys, and the rats. And there's a shovel on the Dark Cross chest.
I mean, I'm hoping that one of them finds a bomb, so at least we can see what's inside, but, you know, like you said, you really never know what's going to happen.
Definitely. And we're gonna get, looks like we don't see any bombs of some sort. As I think there was one of them had the full magic, which I don't know what prize pack is that associated with. I think if it was the full magic, I would have to assume that it would be the prize pack that leads to some sort of bomb, or at least with like a fairy and all that. But I don't think that's the case here. So Illis, we'll have to go and look at the. It's going to have to look later, as Illis is going to get a sub-6 here. Sub-6-minute escape. This is the most ideal time to get during this run, and looking like we did find a bug net in the sanctuary chest, so that map is going to be in the back of Escape.
Yeah, so we know that at least one of those chests are going to be the map. But then it looks like that Illis is now moving over, maybe to closet. No.
He's in the area. He's gonna go and look at the Hylia chest, Hylia Island here, and it's just 10 arrows, and gonna buy bombs, which makes tons of sense for Illis to go and grab them right away. While Shireen is heading over to the Lost Woods, I.E. Flowers is also heading to the Lost Woods.
Usually around this point, what I've been trying to do lately is, while I'm over here, let's check Lumberjack Ledge, you know, just to see whether or not I'm guaranteed an AGA 1 or not. And it looks like on mushrooms, we had 3 bombs.
So there's those bombs for Shireen and everyone else, and that'll be great for the not just for the escape sequence if we do find more bombs later on in Kakariko Village, but it's more especially we can get the entirety of Kakariko Village underway as Illis heading over to the mini Moldorm Cave.
And it looks like the ledge only had 20 rupees, so...
And a bottle in the first chest, and I think that's the fire rod from my perspective, and the flute.
Fire rod and flute. Oh man, we're gonna have a nice seed on this one. I'm already feeling it.
Yeah, this is great news for Illis because right away, Illis is actually going to be avoiding Kakariko and found the 2 items that you would need to do pretty much an entire route through Kakariko in any way possible. As typically, if you're going to go for a start like going to Kakariko, like leaving Kakariko later, you want to get a flute and a bottle so that you can get everything in and have maybe get yourself at a better advantage if the Stick Kid had something to use. Illis is going to go for to the dig game and finding a heart piece.
Now, on the bottom of Blind's hut, by the way, we're really not finding anything in there, just arrows, rupees, and bombs. So nothing important, really, that any of the runners currently need.
Yeah, and Shireen heading over to the well, and that is going to yield us 3 bombs. Elvis heading over to the race game, by the way. And that's going to be just a heart container, but in the well still, we have a heart piece from the bomb wall, and the remaining 3 chests is going to be the mushroom, some more rupees, and the blue boomerang, which is, I feel like, the more inferior boomerang now, because you can't really do a lot of interesting tech with that compared to the magic boomerang, or with the splash deletion.
Magic boomerang, best boomerang.
Yes, for sure.
Just throwing that one out there.
And to answer a question in chat, the Bouts hint is in the Dark World, so we won't be seeing it just there. And there's the mirror from out of Serene side of the chicken well, and the chicken hut. Sick Kid dealing out 3 bombs, and IE Flowers is gonna get that mirror. Bottle vendor, just 20 rupees.
So now at least we can go up and do Hera. Hera is now completely open to us. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, we need gloves. No, that's my bad. We need gloves.
Yeah, we're just gloves, a glove and 2 gloves and 2 gloves or a glove and hammer away from Dark World access. So we're still looking for 2 pieces of that particular puzzle. Shireen is going to check out the race game. We're going to find out that it's just a heart container and nothing more.
It looks like our other racers are now going to try the flute spot to see if we can find anything. And it looks like Calvin is actually going to go for that heart piece.
Yeah, that heart container makes sense to go for the heart container right now, as Illis will be the first player to activate their flute and has access to he's got access to Death Mountain. He's also has access to Tower of Hera. There's that all-important duck that we can get, that we have access to, and they're gonna finish that up with the Blind's hut check.
So I think once we see the blind hut check, if it were me, at this point, I would make my way up to Hera, because we have that one, or we have the closet that we can go check. But at least with Hera, we do know that it is a crystal, and we know, of course, we're going to need those.
Yeah, and especially too, we do have a fire source in case the big key is going to be locked behind a fire source. So this is great. This is great for Illis to knock down, get that started, and draw that all-important first blood pretty soon. And Illis is going to make their way over to the Lost Woods directly after that, which is totally fair.
Yeah. And it looks like I Eat Flowers turned in the mushrooms, so let's see what we get.
And just a heart piece, and I Eat Flowers opting to save Scubbit. Gonna be saving that later for in case he finds a case of Maria and opts to do a fake powder.
Alright, and it looks like Shireen now has the flute as well. So now they have the flute and they have the fire rod.
And 90 Flowers is on their way over to South Shore too, and Calvin will make their way over to Mini Moldorm Cave so that they can get their fire rod and the flute. And Ellis is going to find out about the heart piece from off the mushroom, and we'll see if Ellis opts to save Scummin for a fake powder or decides just to roll with it. And it's going to roll with it.
Now
Ellis is going to... Go ahead.
Well, the only thing I was going to say for those who don't know, with the mushroom, one of the reasons why these runners might want to keep it is because if they come into contact with the hammer and they have the hammer, they can always do something called fake powder. Renderer, do you actually want to explain what fake powder is?
Yeah, it involves using your Canis Mario when you have no magic and you go in and moving highly to the mushroom. As soon as you use it and bring down your menu, and because in a way it kind of works from my brief knowledge about it, is that the mushroom and the powder take up the same spot, and doing some trickery with the cane and the way and how it's set up, like you have there's a block and all that. And if you highlight your mushroom with the Canis Mario, it generates the powder effect that is used for that fake powder glitch, and it can be used in not just on the mushroom on the magic bat, but it can also be used in case you want to, say, use to powder a bunny beam when it's stationary. You have that brief moment before it happens. You're also gonna get dead rods as he's getting getting the old man out of the way, and do some bit of dodging there, and gain 3 bubs out of that. And this time, luckily, that dead rod did not block the entirety of that area, so Illis can move on.
Ooh, and we have Ice Rod Cave being checked right now, and only 20 rupees.
Alright, Respectable Rock. Illis gonna pull out the mirror because it's exactly what Illis is gonna be planning on. It's going in for Hera, and gonna mirror directly over there. It looked like Illis. I didn't catch, but it looked like Illis. I would have to look back at the footage, or the chat could let us know about that.
Chat is saying lamp.
Oh, that is the lamp. Okay, so I think Illis is comfortable with doing dark rooms without the lamp, so this shouldn't be too much of a problem. So, but Illis could opt to grab it in case there's some dark rooms that Illis might have difficulty with. And Shireen heading over to Sahasrala's hut. I'm gonna go look at the closet here. There's that big key inside the second chest of Tower of Hera, and there's that hammer, and within Sahasrala's hut.
Well, Shireen must be feeling so happy now with that hammer, because that means we are so close to Dark World access right there.
Right, and that can also mean that means it's great news for Shireen. All it's in love is just those gloves, and we will have Dark World access for Shireen. And Calvin is going to make their way up Death Mountain, and presumably heading over to Tower of Hera as soon as possible. There's 10 arrows on the first item that we're going to be getting here. There's a total of 2 items here in Tower of Hera, and Calvin, is going over to Tower of Hera right now, and Shireen's also making their way over to Tower of Hera. And the second is going to be, so there's that key. It's possible that we might need to head to Hera Basement for that second item if Moldorm does not drop a item, or does not drop an item. Or,
yeah,
no, wait, what am I saying? What I'm saying, it's Ambrosia, so that means that
basement, if we don't, we could ignore the basement.
Right. I completely forgot that it's Ambrosia. So this is fine for Illis. You can just go up to the fight, go up and draw first blood right now. get the second item without having to worry about having it be in the without having to be in the that chest there. And Calvin is opting to get that lamp. And this fight for Illis is gonna be pretty bog standard. This is a pretty vanilla fight with that fire sword in hand. Just spin and win, and then just focus as hard as you can as the rage state goes through. A poke is what kills off Moldorm, and a little bit of a in sync with the music transition here. And Illis will draw first blood at 1820 with the heart piece dropping from Moldorm.
Now, mind you, now that he has that, he'll probably, if I were him, then we're probably gonna head over to Eastern at this point, or we may have fake flippers. But Shireen, on the other hand, has hammer, so that means that we have Spiral Cave, and we also have access to Paradox Cave as well.
And we get our brief have a map check here. I saw that Misery Mire is one of the pendants on Misery Mire, and for the answer question in chat, the Bouts hint from the uncle was in the Dark World.
And
So
the other,
Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, the other pendant that we also saw too, by the way, was over in Ice Palace. So we know that Ice Palace also has it. I believe the other 5/6 crystal was Thieves Town, but it wasn't. It was too fast for me to actually be able to confirm that one.
Yeah, we'll get some confirmation from all the other runners when we see that happen. And Illis is heading over to the Ice Rock Cave. So everyone else is going over to Tower of Hera. They're going to get the information about the 10 arrows being the first chest that we see, and there's 20 rupees off of the all-important Ice Rod check. And Flower is unfortunately missing that, missing the bomb jump. It has to drop 2 floors, which is never a good feeling.
No, usually I give it 1 or 2 attempts for the bomb jump until I just say, you know what, I've lost enough time. It's not worth continuing anymore. You know, I know enough tricks just to move, just to be able to make up the time.
For sure.
And mind you, these runners are all, you know, completely better than I will probably ever be. So
definitely, and especially, and this is the same case for myself, even though I'm a runner of my own. And Ellis is going to get the hammer from off of Sahasra's closet. Could elect to go into Eastern Palace with that lamp in hand. Everything will be entirely in logic except for the Armos Knight's item, as we will need the bow for that. Calvin taking that fall on Moldorm, having to restart the fight all over again. And looks like
are we going to
Ellis,
see the Fangs of Trolldorm?
if Fang is not a sniper, then sure. But Serene will be the first one to get information about East F Mountain with a hammer in hand, and Ellis is just right on Shireen's tail right now. And is first gonna look at the item on the floating island. Just, oh, flippers!
Well, we definitely know that we're going to have to come back for that one because Swamp Palace is still in there, and it looks like Calvin is down again.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Shireen going through Spiral Cave. It's pretty slow. It's typically kind of slow with without the boots. So it's, I mean, yeah, it's a lot faster with the boots. But again, I would have to say this. It's not really that slow, as many people will leave it up to believe. Controversial opinion, I know. But 10 arrows in Spiral Cave, and Illis got the information about the flippers being on the floating islands.
All right, and Calvin finally taking down Moldorm. That sense of relief.
Paradox Cave for Shireen, and there's the gloves. Dark World access.
Now, it doesn't look like Calvin or I Eat Flowers actually have the hammer, so they're gonna have to wait just a little bit for their Dark World access, but they'll get it.
Yeah, Calvin's on their way over to get to the hammer right now. The top 5 chests: Shireen finding the shield, 20 rupees, a piece of heart, and Illis is gonna get the Dark World access from off the bottom 2 chests, 20 rupees, and Bombos.
Ooh. I don't know about you, but Bombos is best medallion.
Yeah, it lets you get into Ice Palace, and it's pretty much a scream wipe.
There's only, I think that there's only what I like to call the turtles. I actually don't know their names, but the ones that you find in Pod, for example.
Terrapins.
Yes, they are the only ones from my knowledge that Bombos really doesn't affect.
Alright, Serene gave in the back of escape check. And the back of escape check is there's that map they were talking about earlier, 20 rupees and 3 bombs. And Illis is opting to go not over to the back of escape, but instead head over to Hive Cave. It's gonna get the information from there, and we'll be the first full player to get into the Dark World. And yes, to confirm, this is in fact Thieves Town being that 5/6 crystal. And Calvin giving the double confirmation there. Ice and Misery Mire are the remaining pendants, and Thieves Town being the remaining 5/6. Illis at the Hype Cave right away, and there's a bow. Inside Hype Cave, followed on with the cape, a heart container, a heart piece, and another heart piece.
You know what? I'll call this pretty hype.
That is direct access to Pod. You can clear out Pod now.
We can clear out Pod. We can also go ahead too, and with the cape, you can also check Bumper Ledge as well.
Definitely. And this is a pretty decent, it's a pretty good Hype Cave for what it is. Pretty solid, and nothing, no strings attached to it whatsoever. It's very nice to see that. Calvin heading over to Hype Cave, Paradox Cave. I'm gonna get the gloves and everything else.
And good old Stumpy just handing out some money.
On to Cave 45 for Illis, going to do the reverse Smith chain. Cave 45 yielding a blue mail. That's a nice little protection to have. Cuts down your damage considerably.
With the low amount of hearts that they have, if any of them decide to go and do Thieves Town, definitely that blue mail is going to be so nice for them.
Oh, exactly. So, Illis is going over to the digging game. We'll have to mirror out before heading over to Village of Outcasts, because we will still need that Titansmith to rift the giant rock. And there's a Master Sword from off of the digging game, and Shareen is going to get that right now. And Ellis opting to go for... He's opted to go and do Pod Eastern from the looks of things. And I do agree with this call here, and Illis and Ivy Flower is actually dying inside Spiral Cave. That's going to be a little bit of a... It'll cost Ivy Flowers a bit of time just to get back to Paradox Cave to get their Dark World access.
And Calvin already going through Hype Cave. And it looks like Shireen has decided, you know what? They want to go to the Outcast.
Yeah, heading for Village of Outcasts, and is going to also make their way over to Skull Woods, or no, it's going for Village of Outcasts. That's also pretty fair. You can clear Skull Woods out with that Fire Rod in hand. Illis into pod.
I just think with Shireen's probably thinking, you know what, item density wise, I have more items down here, so, and we have 100 rupees from the box game.
And there is that key in hand, so we're not bow locked. That's a nice thing to have. I mean, of course, we have the bow anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. We'll be full clearing this out anyway. Shareen heads to the brewery, just blocking that wall here, and finding out there's a fire shield. And Serene heading for the C-shaped house, while Calvin is making their way over to pod.
Yeah, it looks like Illis and Calvin are thinking the exact same thing.
Definitely, and to clear things up here about that Bouts location. The Bouts being in the Dark World does not include the dungeons. If it was a dungeon, then we would know what the location of that would be. The big key you found pretty early on, we will need that anyway as part of that first 4 checks by the logic of this seed, by the logic of the game that the randomizer provides, just to make sure every seed is completable in some form or another. Heart piece or heart container, the first item of 4. Heading over to the Stalfo's basement here with just that key. Key logic is going to be. I didn't pay attention to the key logic for this one, so I'm assuming Illis may have found the big key in the big key chest, and would have to find would have found a key eventually.
And we got a compass down at Thieves.
But with that hammer in hand, Shareen is pretty sure that he'll be clearing out the entirety of the dungeon anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. And Illis opting to save a key, and by doing a hammer jump, this is a double pixel perfect position. You gotta first place the bomb in a pixel perfect position, and then line yourself up in a pixel perfect position. Ellis failing the hammer jump though, and is opting just to go do it as is.
Right, I mean, we do have fire rods, so, you know, we are going to be able to see down in the basement. The only issue that I can see is when we're first going downstairs, and we have to, oh, there's the ice rod.
Very nice find for Illis. All that's left is just a cane for that access to Turtle Rock after we get those mitts.
Boom, we still don't know exactly what medallion, so we may need another medallion as well.
Yeah, the only medallion we have is that Bomba's medallion, so we better keep our eyes peeled for that one. There's a map in the sunroof. Okay, so it looks like the key logic is a key for a key in that in the Molder, chest, the pod big key chest. That's what Lawrence was looking for.
And IE Flowers just finished up Hive Cave and is looking to possibly make their way towards pod as well.
Yeah, IE Flowers is doing it right away, and it looked like Ellis found red mail and pod.
Oh no, is IE Flowers going to check out Pyramid instead?
This is fair as well. This is in the pod area, so this is fair on all cylinders. Shireen finding 20 rupees, and it will look like the logic means that we will, of course, by the logic, blind cannot have an item, and we already know that that was all the remaining items in the front and by Ambrosia logic, Blind will have the remaining item. So the key is going to be locked behind its own chest in the big key chest, and Illis is going to opt to finish off Pod and go and kill Helmos Arcane, while Shireen is onto the Blind.
Oh, and then chat informing us that Pyramid only had 20 rupees on it. Another
Okay.
big 2-0.
Okay, so look, Shireen looking good for that blind script. Very nicely done for Shireen. That item is going to yield 20 rupees, but more importantly, the first 5-6 crystal of the match. Okay, so Illis on the way over to the Helmos King. Something to point out in chat too with Illis and Calvin. Because of the Ellis' knowledge of the pod key logic, Ellis was able to save some time without having to go through some additional checks in order to, you know, get to Blind by itself. And that's what I don't really know the key logic myself, as Hillis is onto the Helmos Arcade and IE Flowers is onto Pod itself. Looked like Shireen didn't find anything of use. Alright, let me look at like the playback here. Just again, looked like 20 rupees off the playback that I'm looking at here. And is going over to Graveyard Ledge.
And Pod is now finished with Illest. And we have one heart, and that is it. Pod is now done.
That puts Illis up to 2 crystals. And Shireen into Graveyard Ledge. Graveyard Ledge doing up 5 rupees, and Illis is not heading for Eastern Palace. Interesting, because you have a total of 4 items if you add in that green pendant. So I would imagine Calvin would be the player to head over to Eastern Palace directly after finishing Pod, just so that we can get that check out of the way and we can do this entirely, get all those 4 checks done.
Right, but you know, and I understand Illis's mindset, which, you know, if I don't have to go in there, you know, I'm not going to want to go in there. Save yourself a little bit of time, but you know, it is a gamble too.
Yeah, those pendants are a gamble, and especially in Ambrosia, where you know there's an item going to be on, there is an item on every single boss that isn't a dungeon item. So you know that if you go in there, you have a chance of putting yourself ahead of the pack if that item is on, that important item that we need to finish the seed is on the boss. Serene into Skull Woods, opting to head for the back.
And it looks like Calvin's having a little bit of a hard time. There we go.
Yeah, the Terrapin room giving Calvin a bit of trouble there, but that's not a big deal for Calvin. Getting through that just fine. Off to the Helmos Arcane goes Calvin, and Shireen finding that key in the back of Skull Woods, and is gonna probably save. Is gonna be steal the pot key, so we'll have to kill the Gibdo for that key, and Calvin starting the Helmos Arcane fight. And for Shireen to go to the back first of Skull Woods makes tons of sense because of the way the rule set is, with every boss having an item that's not a dungeon item. This makes a lot of sense for it. It's an easy decision to make for this particular set as Calvin finishes off the Elves arcade fight. Gonna get the heart container and get the next crystal for Calvin, up to 2 of 7 to 5 more to go. Shireen, onto the Mafia fight. This is one of the more annoying fights to deal with because of the way the Mafia is programmed. If you hit her when she's up against the spikes, it will not register a hit whatsoever. So you have to hit him while she's not up against the spikes or up against, or with the spikes nearby her. He's got to be like out in the middle of the open. So he's got to dodge those spikes, dodge the attacks that Mafia fires. And down she goes. And for 20 rupees. That's crystal number 3.
I don't know about you, but that's one of the bosses I absolutely hate the most. Cannot stand Mafia. Cannot.
Yeah, it's fair because it's one of those dungeons where it's one of those bosses where you have to. I mean, you have to be pretty precise with your shots and with your hits, and you got to make sure you don't knock her up against the against the spike walls whatsoever, so that way you don't trigger the negating of the attacks.
Yep. Now looks like Shireen is now going to be checking the chest. We know that Skullwoods has one more item that it can give us, and there it is. We now have Titans.
Very nice find for Shireen.
And it looks like I Eat Flowers has now just finished pod. And Shireen's going to be dipping back into the Dark World. We still have yet to find Bouts, though.
Yeah, but we also now have access to the Smith chain. We also have access to hammer picks. We have pretty much a lot of the Dark World has opened up to us at this point in time. Mire area is also opened up. Ice Palace has been opened up.
And we do have Super Bunny Cave.
Yeah, Dark Death Mountain's also been opened up for us too.
And the
Shireen
Flippers. We have Flipper access.
Yeah, Flipper access is also there as well. We will need to find the Hookshot in order to finish off Swamp Palace, though. And Shireen making the decision to go for the Swamp, for the Spiff chain right now. Going to route that in with the hammer pegs. And we won't have doesn't have the Can of Samaria, so we can't really do the fake powder. So we'll have to, that mushroom's going to stay in Shireen's inventory. So at this point in time, all we're really looking for as soon as Shireen gets those flippers is the cane and the Hookshot, and then whatever medallion is on Turtle Rock, and that will be pretty much go except for go mode. Serene dropping off the blacksmiths. Blacksmith is going to yield a Hookshot. Talk about the Hookshot, get the Hookshot. That's the way it works here. Shireen picking up that purple shast. So this decision is pretty easy for Shireen. Go to Swamp Palace. You have 6 items to work with. And Calvin opting to head going for the Armos Knights. Looked like Calvin, after doing pod, went to Eastern Palace. So far has not come up with anything. And a bunch of money for Shireen off the off of the purple chest. And Shireen heading over to the Mire area. That's his call to go for that right now. Bombos is required for Misery Mire, so we could enter it. We can't finish it because we're still looking for the Can of Samaria. Calvin onto the Arbros Knights, and a Mire Shed for Shireen. We are going to receive 20 rupees and another set of 20 rupees.
And Armos is done with a piece of heart. That gives us green pendants, so now we can see at least what Sasharella is actually holding for us now.
Yeah, that is correct. Shireen, Calvin is still about a few spots away, and it probably is going to opt to mirror back once he's finished with after going through this room, going through the rest of the dark the pod area, just on the way over to pod, and yeah, it looks like that's the call here. Gonna look at what Sahasrah yields. So Illis opted to stay within Skullwoods, not head for the back. So that's going to be a lot of more time for Shireen. Just Sahasrah only giving out 10 arrows. So Calvin, not happy about it whatsoever. Looks like Easter Palace was a bust.
It looks like Calvin may have left him, a little present just to say hi. Just as a token of gratitude.
Yeah. Serene onto the checkerboard cave.
And Illis, by the way, decided to clear the entire bottom portion of Skullwoods. Now looking to move on further, even though we know he can completely bypass it. Illis doesn't have that same information, so.
Shireen heading over to Agina's cave. This is one of the last few Sphere 1 checks that has been left alone since the start of the seed. And just 300 rupees. Zora is also opened up for us too, along with the Waterfall Fairy. Shireen is headed to Dark Death Mountain.
So looks like Illis is deciding, you know what, I'm just gonna go back. I'm just gonna, defeat the boss, just move on. Maybe I'll come back for the chest. And in our minds, we're all hoping, yes, go back for that chest. You need that chest.
Yeah, especially with Illis going to the front instead of heading to the back first. That costs Illis more time because we know that everything else is in the back, along with the all-important Tidesmiths. Serene into Super Buddy Cave, and looking like Shireen is a pretty big favorite going into the mid-game here. Does not get the hookshot clip, so it'll take a bit of a time to spend some time going up to this room and then dropping down just to get to the hookshot over to the Super Buddy Cave.
Calvin finally got a Master Sword. I don't know about you, by the way, Renderer, but I'm not so good with that hook shot, so I have to do the mirror glitch when I'm down there. And we got Bouts!
That's a huge find!
Bouts
and
Super
Bouts.
Bunny Cave.
Ooh, that's a big find for Shireen. That's really good news for Shireen. Book, and that's pretty much your access into Desert Palace right then and there, and it's also access to your to the 5-6 crystals, and Bombos is required on Turtle Rock, so all we're looking for at this point in time is that Cane of Samaria, and Serene will have to go and get the Ice Rod eventually, as he's going into Hookshot Cave.
And Illis finally getting the Titan's Mitts.
Also on Shireen's side, half magic in Hookshot Cave, and nothing else of sorts. Onto that second life bar, and Shireen is wasting no time getting those flippers.
I don't think Shireen may have, No, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't think that, I had totally had to remember that flippers were on top. Yeah, totally required. I'm gonna need those, and then probably afterwards, we're gonna head over to, well, we have a couple options. If we save and quit while in the light world, we can quickly do King's Tomb if we wanted to, Pegasus Rocks, but Shireen probably just gonna say, you know what, I want to head down to Swamp.
Yeah, and Shireen's opting to go for Hookshot, Spike Cave, and also taking advantage of that opportunity with the boots and the book in hand, is going to go and look at Ether Tablet with that Master Sword in hand. We'll be able to pick that up. This is a very fair play for Shireen to go, and the Ether Tablet is going to yield 10 arrows. And Desert Ledge only having just a piece of heart. And yeah, this is the Spiky play for Shireen. This makes a lot of sense for Shareen to go here. But Illis, now that Illis has the Tides bits, will opt to head over. Will probably be heading over to Dark Death Mountain eventually. But Illis is opted to go for Desert Palace instead. Spiky only dealing 3 bombs.
And it looks like Calvin decided that they were going to save a little bit of magic by using the lantern, since they do not have half magic.
And Illis' boots locked, but this shouldn't matter because if Illis goes over to Dark Death Mountain, they'll be getting the boots. So Shireen has a bit of time on his side, but Shireen is opted to head over to Pod. So this will give Illis a bit of time to catch up here if he decides to go over to Dark Death Mountain. And this is especially the case as well because Illis already has the Ice Rod in his inventory, along with IE Flowers and Calvin.
And IE Flowers just finishing up Thieves Town, and Calvin just finishing up Skull Woods. I didn't see if Calvin actually got the chest at the entrance. But if not, Calvin will most likely be going back for it.
Yeah, and so at this point, really, the best thing that Illis will have to do, Illis will have to go and get the hook shots from out of the Smiths in order to keep their progression moving on and push Illis ahead of the pack, ahead of Shireen. And Shireen needs to find that Ice Rod, which at the moment it's escaping me where we found that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I feel like that was in Pod. Was that in Pod?
Yeah, chat's confirming it. This will put Shireen ahead. This will probably put Shireen ahead.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have to Shireen's gonna have to go back into Pod to take care of Pod. Oh no, Shireen hasn't done Pod yet.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Shireen is heading over to Pod right now, and this will give not only the red veil but also the Ice Rod. So this is great news for Shireen. This will push Shireen ahead again, like I said, ahead of the pack. While Illis, however, is heading over to the blacksmiths right now. From the looks of things, he's got the hammer out. Might want to go and he might be opting to go for hammer pegs first, which I don't know. I probably, if I were to do the smith chain, okay, so that's the correct call. Go for the smiths first before doing hammer pegs. That's the right call. This will push Illis. This will push Illis a bit of ahead of the pack right now, especially even more so with that extra dungeon count that Illis has right now, with only one dungeon ahead of the pack of Shireen.
Yeah, now we just have to hope that afterwards, Illis is going to have to hope that the pathing is going to be optimal for them, because we could go ahead and get a couple of things, but hopefully we don't have to check the left side of Swamp. We can ignore it, but I mean, we'll see what ends up happening. It's still an early enough race.
Yeah, it's still, we're not even an hour in yet, and we just have that Candace Amaria left to go, and that will bring it really closer. But now Illis has that hook shot in hand. If Illis, I think now, as soon as Illis gets the Tidesmiths off of, not the Tidesmiths, the Slippers off of the Fluid Islands, I would say go over to Swamp Palace.
Definitely, that would be the smart play to do. The only question is though, where would be the Cane of Samaria?
It would have to be I would put an Ice Palace as the best case scenario. If the worst possible place for it to find it is either a Misery Mire or an Ice Palace, both of those are pendants, or Desert Palace could also, since Illis is gonna get the book and the boots, it can also end up at Desert Palace or the Pyramid Fairy, which isn't bad, but it's not ideal. But of course, it's not worse than Misery Mire or Ice Palace.
Yeah, personally, I would hope that we would find it more in Desert Palace, because we know that we can get the boots, we can get all the other stuff. Personally, I like to avoid Ice Palace as much as humanly possible, but it's still a good option, because we do know that there's going to be at least 3 items that are going to be in Ice Palace.
Yeah, and Ivy Flowers is onto the modular flight while Shireen just finished up pod. And we'll have to head back because we know there's a lot of we know that Ice Rod is in Ice or pod. What am I saying? But Illis, it's got the boots of the book.
Ooh, chat actually bringing up a really good point. We didn't see anybody fake flipper. We haven't seen anybody do any hobo check, or we haven't seen anybody do any of the waterfall, or even Zora for that matter. So Kane could be over there too.
Yeah, that is true. We haven't done the flipper checks. We haven't seen the man underneath the bridge. We haven't seen the entirety of Zora's domain. We haven't seen Catfish. This could mean if Illis goes over there right now. If Illis goes and does, does after finishing out Swamp Palace, I would say if we haven't found the Casamari there, I would say flipper checks and then Zora.
But of course, since we can clear Swamp first, Swamp would be the more optimal before we go on another chase.
And to answer question chat, it can't be on the pedestal because of Misery Mire. So we already know that the pedestal is dead. And with the fact that we also have both bombos are required for both of those dungeons, it cannot be a medallion that we already have, which is that bombos. So that to me says, yeah, pedestal is completely dead, and we don't have to worry about it.
All right, Shareen checking Kings 2.
Alright, King Assume is going to yield us 3 bombs.
We still have Pegasus Rocks and everything that we mentioned before, so Kane can still be there.
Yeah, and this is something that this could probably put Shireen a bit to keep Illis at bay for this point in time, because Illis is still moving to Spike Cave and hasn't gone over it just do the other checks just yet. So Bunkrock's yielding a bottle with a bee in it.
Alright, looks like Calvin picked up his fire shield.
Oh, we haven't seen the Lumberjack Ledge yet.
Yes, Lumberjack Ledge has not been checked. Oh man, I hope that it's not the case. I really do. I hope that's not the case for these guys.
Okay, it's a big whole rupee hoard, so it's not Aga 1.
Oh, thank God it's not an Aga 1 seed. I would feel so bad for these players if it was forced Aga 1.
But look over at Illis and Shireen's side. They're heading over to Desert Palace with the boots in hand. Illis already knew that it was boots locked, so Ellis is double dipping this, while Shireen is going to single dip it. I don't think it really matters, but the dip is at this point, because Illis and Shireen are right behind. It could also be a Desert Palace, has not gone over to, could it be on the Pyramid Ledge, the Pyramid Fairy, and we can route that in alongside Catfish and everything else. That's another thing to consider. If it's not here in Desert Palace. To answer a question in chat, we know it's the Decadent of Samaria. We know we need to find the Decadent of Samaria, and as a result of that, the pedestal is dead because of Misery Mire being that pendant, and it cannot be on Misery Mire as a result, or cannot be the pedestal because of that. Illis heading over to the right side with that key in hand. Illis is. We know that the first item will have to. Well, I think has to be here on the right side. 3 bombs. Shireen opting, however, going over to the back, and he's going over to the back and not going to the right side just yet. I think that is going to be. That will put Shireen ahead if Illis finds the. If Shareen fights the Decadent here, and if it's here, then we have a race on our hands, because both of them have the same crystal count, the same dungeons cleared. We could see a huge execution race if this is the Decadent right now.
Oh yeah, and Calvin has already picked up Hookshot, by the way. We just turned in Purple Chest as well. So now it looks like we're going to go back up to Death Mountain, and we're going to go visit Super Bunny Cave and Hookshot Cave.
Correct. Shireen finishing off the Lambo in like one cycle with that fire rod in hand. Just a piece of heart, but we get the other 5/6 crystal. That could possibly be Pyramid Fairy might be what we need. But also, considering that Shireen has not gone to the right side, Illis will be again ahead of the pack of Shareen, because Illis already went there to begin with. Hey, Flowers gave the book of the Bouts from all of the Super Bunny Cave, and Calvin will be doing the same thing as well. And Serene is heading for Swamp Palace. And we have just crossed the 1 hour mark, so this is perfect time for me to say that these runners are very excellent. Like we mentioned with Ednar and myself, we're not as good as everyone else is. Oh, Heidi Flowers was attempting to do a hover. Didn't get it, but obviously go for the flippers instead. But I was gonna say though, these runners are good and better than us by a long shot. So it'd be a crime if you don't follow them. These are exceptional runners. Bombos only have a 20 rupees, so Swamp Palace is the call for Illis. And yeah, we have a good lineup here out of a good field of excellent runners. We can only show 4 of them on the screen at once. And our trackers for the day, keeping us up to date and giving us all the information that we need whatsoever. We have Woodfox 470 and SoCal 2044, and I am Professor Redner, and joining me is Ednar. If you want to give us a follow, be sure to do so as well. And Illis into Swamp Palace.
So now here's going to be a good question. Are we going to be forced to go to the left side in Swamp Palace?
Illis and Shireen have a choice. They could do left side swamp first, or they could also head to the back. If this rule set is anything to go off of, I'd say you would go to the back first.
Yeah, I know me personally, I'm usually partial to going to the back first versus the left side. The left side just takes so much time, even with a skill, which I don't know if we're going to see or not, but another one called Diver Down.
Yes, Diver Down. This is this is an interesting glitch that this is an interesting trick that we've uncovered in the past couple of weeks or so. And this lets you go to the left side swamp while having the keys flooded, the flooded key, and it also lets you do the flooded chest without having to hit the third water switch. And the big key chest, or the big chest, 150 rupee. And we could see it here with Illis using the bomb strats, not the KSMR strats, and that's exactly what Illis is going to do right now. He's going to be using those bombs to do the flooded chest and perform that diver down. It involves some weirdness by having you hop down on the wrong water layer. And there it is. There's the diver down. And just a map of 10 arrows. And Shireen also is going to do diver down. And gets it.
So we found the map over here, which means that, logically speaking, there could be an item on the other side.
Oh, silver arrows found over on Ellis' side. And Calvin, look at this. Calvin is going to be doing the flipper checks. Could also head to Ice Palace if he so chooses. So he's going to go for the man underneath the bridge. Now, if this is the Cata Samaria over here on these flipper checks, it's gonna be huge for Calvin. The man underneath the bridge yields us a heart container. And Ellis and Serene are on simultaneous Argus fights, and Calvin is intending to head over to Ice Palace. That or the flipper check, or the rest of the flipper checks. His intention is the flipper checks.
And the one silver arrow from Shireen, making this a neck-and-neck race between Shireen and Illis.
And the powder was picked up from Calvin, though. We could see the magic bats from Calvin if this, and that goes to KSMR. This is going to be huge for him, and he's going over to the Zora area right now. None of them are heading over to the left side swamp, which looks like, I think they may have found all the items there. I didn't count their items.
Well, we know that they have the key in the map, so that means that on the other side we have 2 remaining chests, which means that one of them could have actually been an item.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and Calvin finding 50 rupees from off of Zora, just a 10% return on investment, and Calvin is gonna be headed. Okay, so it isn't me where saying that the stream's kind of gone. Okay, it looks like we're heading back though. I hear audio. Alright, now we're getting signal again. And Shareen heading over to the bombs, the super bomb, and Ellis is right behind him. So that super bomb could be important here, and just 20 rupees off of the pyramid ledge. Could be heading for Catfish later on down the road here. Pyramid Fairy gave me 10 arrows and a piece of heart, so nothing to Pyramid Fairy. Catfish is the only remaining answer. And it's not Ice Palace or Misery Mire. Shireen heading to the man underneath the bridge.
So I wonder if this game, if this seed is going to do something to us, which is going to be interesting. What if we have it, like you said beforehand, in Misery Mire?
That's the worst case scenario. Shireen will have to could also head to Catfish, and looks like Illis is heading for Catfish or that or the he's going for Catfish. It's going to be a neck and neck one because Elves will have to spend a bit of time on this, having to move over to the left to get over that right side of the screen to get to that screen transition. They're pretty much right next to each other. Execution is going to matter here as they're going for the Catfish check. If this is the case, tomorrow we have a race on our hands.
Both these runners have silvers, so we know that we do not have to do silverless Ganon, which means that we were able to get him off relatively fast. And as far as the rest of these runners go, I mean, we still have Calvin, who's in Swamp Palace. Maybe he checks the left side. And honestly, I think the worst case scenario in all of this is if they have to double dip inside of Swamp.
Yeah, and that Catfish just yielded a heart piece. So Calvin, if he goes to left side Swamp and finds the Canis Maria, Calvin will see himself ahead of the pack right now.
But as Chad is pointing out too, so we know that it could be at least 3 places, right? We know that it could be Misery Mire, we know that it could be Ice Palace, and we know that there is a potential Swamp as well.
Yeah.
Right? All the other checks have been done, I believe.
Yeah, it's all is left is left side Swamp, Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and that's it.
Or as Chad corrected, Bat too. We haven't seen Bat.
Oh yeah, the Magic Bat and Calvin and Shireen just got their they had their powder not too long ago, and Illis already has the powder in hand, and Illis is making the call to do powder right away. And if this is the Canis Maria, that is going to put Illis way ahead of the pack. But Shireen opting to go for it right now. I think Illis may not have gotten that powder. Okay, he does have the powder. Okay, good. Thanks for the trackers for letting us know about that. So if Shireen finds the Canis Maria here, this is big. If Calvin finds it in left side Swamp, and that's exactly what he's doing, this is big. Shireen with the Magic Bat check. Survey says from the Magic Bat, a green potion. So Calvin maybe has a shot if he finds it in the left side Swamp. Otherwise, it's in Ice Palace or Misery Mire. Yeah, this is gonna be huge. If Calvin finds the Canis Maria here, oh, Shireen is heading for Ice Palace. This could be the correct call if Calvin finds nothing here.
Oh yeah, and I think especially with Shireen as well, it's one of those things where, you know what, I spent a little bit of time trying to search for this thing. I can't find it, so we're just gonna move on.
And Calvin found nothing from the left side Swamp. So Shireen and Illis made the right call, leaving left side Swamp behind. And Shireen might be making the right call here in Ice Palace. Because we know it's not on Turtle Rock. We need the Canis Maria to even get to the front door. And that means, too, we won't be seeing an Icebreaker from any of the runners if it ends up in Ice Palace. Or not even just that. Because we could be seeing a clear off the boss, too, because of Ambrosia's settings. For all we know, the Samaria could be there if Ice Palace is not Samaria locked. To answer a question in chat, the green pennant was 10 arrows.
So unfortunately, you guys being Icebreaker most likely, you're going to be just seeing Most likely the bomb jump version for Ice Palace. But
Yeah,
even
this
then,
is the
bomb
bog-
jump.
Yeah, this is the pretty standard route that you want to take if you want to go through Ice Palace. You have to learn this bomb jump. It's the most important bomb jump in the entire game over anything else. I would personally say, if you can't learn this bomb jump, then you'll take quite a long time through this dungeon. Shireen does get the bomb jump buff though. Shireen is heading over to the left side. Might be heading for the boss first before going over and doing everything else. Could also be doing for Ice-T room, right at the Hookshot side as well. Over on the Freezer room, just a compass. And Illis is also into Ice Palace right now. Serene bomb jumps over to the Hookshot side. This is fair for Serene. Doesn't have to take a bit of time there. Could end up orphaning of Ice-T room if it ends up there and decides to clear it out. Doesn't find anything.
And we have pain.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. At 1:14:08, Shireen has entered go mode. And as Ellis is going through there right now, he just entered Ice Palace. And at this point, barring from any catastrophe from happening on Shireen's side, this is his race to lose.
Mind you, things can still happen in Turtle Rock, and things can still happen in Ganon's Tower. Illis can still come back right from behind within a blink of an eye, realistically.
Yeah, this is especially true. Anything can happen from this point in time. Shireen will have to hope that he doesn't find anything of. Will have to hope for nothing to go run for this play, because at this point, Shireen has to execute strong if he wants to take first place overall on the SRL race. At the moment I'm seeing it right now, I don't see anyone had finished at this point, so it's still anyone's game. Shireen enters Turtle Rock, and Illis will eventually be making their way over to Turtle Rock once Illis finds the case of Ambrosia within the spike room over in the Hookshot lock side. Illis could opt to go for Ice-T, and it's because Illis decided not to bomb jump, and it's going to take the long race, so this will add up more time for Shireen.
Right, but we still have at least that block placed. So Illis has still set themselves up pretty nicely. We still have to see, however, what's going to happen, because as you said before, currently, as we're looking at it, this is Shireen's race to lose.
And Illis picking up the Ether Medallion from off of the Ice-T room. Of course, we know that all the medallions, both medallion dungeons are bomb boosts, so that won't be really necessary unless Ellis wants another screen wipe.
And it looks like Calvin is now going through Desert Palace at the moment. And
Yeah.
Ice Flowers executed a great diver down.
Yeah, this is the other diver down that we were talking about. He's got the small key, and this will let him do left side swap. Of course, we didn't find anything of use there, But this is good for this is great for ID Flowers to know this. For knowing that he can do this other bomb jump. I can't really figure that out myself. It's one of the. I don't know why. It just escapes me. Shireen. So now Illis got the Chaos Samaria. He's now in go mode. Heading to Turtle Rock right away. Ready with 4 hearts to. Ooh, that's a bad.
That's a really annoying dead block right there.
Yeah, that's a bad Waffle House right there. I mean, that's what some people had called it from like tournament. I don't usually call this, but it's similar but not identical.
And we got Big Key now. And it looks like Shireen is opting to grab at least 1 fairy, so this way get a little bit of health, survive the rest of it.
Yeah, this is good. Safe. This is good. We did get that bug net really early on the scene through the sanctuary chest because we didn't have bombs initially, and even if the map chest, they didn't know what the map was. We knew the map eventually through some process of elimination through the standards mode. We knew that the map was going to be in the back of Escape. Shireen over to the big chest side. At this point, Shireen, all he might be looking for if he spends some time checking more chests is a tempered sword that will help him extensively to avoid the Master Sword Silver's fights, which is not as bad as many people make it out to be. It's longer than a typical scanning fight, yes, but it's not like Master Sword Silverless levels of bad. 28 speds over 52, I'll take that anytime during any time when I'm racing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Listen, when I'm running an Icy Silvers, I will grab them. But if I have to go through and just say, you know what, we're just going to avoid Silvers today. I don't know where it is, and I'm just not going to hunt it. That's it. But these guys, they have Silvers. They know exactly, hey, I can do this. Even with the Master Sword, it's not too terrible.
For sure. Shareen will have to go over to the laser bridge to find that other chest, find that other key that we need to get over to Turtle Rock and finish Turtle Rock once and for all.
Where do you think the small key is going to be here?
Hopefully not too far away. There's off the map. Another bottle, that's the last bottle of the seed. And there's that small key. And Ellis, Shireen's gonna check this chest just to be sure. And 300 rupees. So, no Master Sword here in Turtle Rock. It will have to be a GT, either that or Misery Buyer.
It could be.
Whatever checks we missed. We didn't see the rest of the Hookshot lock side, so we didn't see the giant Stalfos room. We did see the big key chest, and that's also there. It could also be there too. But Calvin is over on the Ice Palace right away. We'll get the case of Mario. We'll be entering Go mode. I.E. Flowers, opting for Misery Meyer, which it's not the correct answer, but it makes sense. You have to make a 50-50 choice. It's a 50-50 shot at that point in time. And down goes the two other heads of Trinex onto the final head here for Shareen. And once we do this, we'll be heading up to GT.
Oh yeah, and for all we know too, we could get Tempered Sword right here as well.
For sure, yeah. And Trinex will yield a Mirror Shield, close enough.
You know what? That's not bad. Going into this with a Mirror Shield, not bad at all. Because we could still get Sword over Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, and that's perfect. And a perfect segue into this now. There are 22 locations where the big key could potentially be inside Ganon's Tower. From 1 to 22, get your guesses in chat where you think that big key might be. We're not going to run the bots here because it is a community race and we don't have any delay here. So much like week 6 going on right now on the ALTTP League. And as far as Shireen is concerned, this is perfect news for him. So Shireen is opened up, has all 7 crystals, is going to break the seal on Ganon's tower. All guesses will close as soon as Shireen enters Ganon's tower once and Ganon's tower, and 21 chests of torch separates Shireen from getting the big key and completing the siege. Let's do this.
Now, where do you think that is going to be? What's your count, Renderer?
7. I'll just go for 7.
Lucky number 7?
Yeah. First item is going to first chest going left side. It's going to be a key, so we're not going to see Bob because that Bob is going to hit. It all hinges on a key on the runners not getting the torch item. Number 2. For the Stalfos route. Number 2. A single arrow. Number 3. A key. Number 4. Another key. Number 5. A piece of heart. Shireen's going for Dark Magician. Or a variation of the Dark Magician. I can't really tell which one is the real Dark Magician, which one's not. But it's a variation of it. And Shireen, oops. Accidentally pressed the mirror button there. Alright, number 6. Quake. Number 7. 3 bombs. Okay, over to the east side, over to the right side.
Let it not be in the tile room. Let it not be in the tile room.
Yeah, that would be number 22 if Shireen commits to this Dark Magician round, and that's exactly what he's going to do right now. And Ellis onto the Tridex fight. It could also end up being GT routing depending on if Shireen has trouble throughout this the raider of this GT venture. Ooh. Alright, number 8, a key. Number 9, 10 arrows. Number 10, the big key.
10.
And it looks like Astro Noder 1, guessing number 10. Congratulations. You got yourself some internet points.
Trinex is now down for Illis, so then he'll be making his way over to Ganon's tower.
Illis got the mirror shield out of that too, and yeah, heading for GT right away. Shireen is heading over to. He's just gonna start the climb right now, not wasting any of her time. Just gonna go for it.
Flowers looks a little bit behind. We still haven't gone through Swamp Palace just yet. And we have no way without Swamp Palace. Oh, no way without getting first Ice Palace and then Swamp Palace to be able to go through Turtle Rock. So this is still going to be a close match.
Yeah, and IE Flowers really needs to go over, and IE Flowers just needs to go to do this blacksmiths, because this is gonna be a huge trouble for IE Flowers if he does not go back to do the smiths.
Alright, it looks like Illis has decided to go left side of GT. And Shareen already in the second part. And I know your favorite part is coming up soon.
Yes, this is my favorite set of rooms in the entirety of this game, and you'll never change my mind afterwards. Wizards 1 and 2, because like look at this. Look at this. This is if this is not satisfying, I don't know what you're thinking. Illis is also going to do Dark Magician, so Shareen will still be in a good position. He's been executing pretty strongly, and yeah, Wizrobe 2, almost got it, but like almost got it, but hey, just a quick kill, and that's a quick stab at the back. They'll still be fine.
Oh yeah. Luckily enough, they only need one hit, so if you do miss one, it's not the end of the world.
For sure. And yeah, just getting it all done in one go is so satisfying. It's probably the most satisfying set of rooms in the entirety of this game if you know how to perform them just right. Alright, Shireen going through torches 1 and 2 and has not despawned the sprites.
No, opting to use three of the lanterns and then 1 fire rod. So still saving, because realistically, we still are guaranteed 1 full pot when it comes to magic. So we are perfectly fine.
Yeah, and this is great. It's especially good for Shireen, because he will get that full magic, and he might be opting to save some money, save some time here, and save some money here of or something out of. Here's 300 rupees in the pre-Boulder 2 chest. Get that full magic before fighting against Decadent and also Aga 2. But first, gotta get through Boulder 2.
The return of the troll.
Yes, and that just 3 spins shall do it. Just gotta be cautious here. Good use of the hookshot to get some iframes going. Just missed that shot there. There's that spin there.
There we go. And it looks like Illis has already started his ascent of the tower.
And no tempered sword from the Moldorb 2 chest, so we're gonna go Master Sword Silvers. For all we know, that tempered sword could have ended up in GT.
It could have been in GT, and you know what? It could have also we could have had another sword in Misery. So either way, it's still perfectly fine. We're still able to do everything.
Definitely. All right, Shareen on to Aga 2. Well, Illis is making their gauntlet plays. Ooh, missing a cycle there.
But it looks like on the first one we got 2 successful hits.
Ooh, another missed hit this cycle. It looks good though. That looked like a single one.
That was actually 2.
Oh, it
there
was
we go.
2. Fair enough.
Yeah, they just kind of merged into each other.
Okay, good. So all that's left is for Shireen to finish off the scene once and for all, is to fight Ganon, the big pig, as some people will call it. And Shireen just gotta wait for the bat to drop down, and just gotta drop down himself, and the Ganon fight shall commence. Going for Canis of Arya stretch, which is fair because he will want to get some more spins onto Ganon with this alone, and I like what this is. I like this. Just using the Canis of Arya to get a few extra spins, get those doubles out when he has a chance to. Just to clear out some cycles. He's got the good corner.
Just so this way we can move on to the next phase. You know, that's the one thing. Yes, having the tempered is nice and the golden is nice, but all that really means when you have the Master Sword is you just go through the phases just a little bit longer. These runners know these phases so well that they're not even worried about it.
Oh, for sure. And gonna be using the cape strats here to get some hits out without having to be worried about those fire bats that Ganon is summoning. Got a few more spins on phase 2. It looks like Serene may have gotten it. Or looks like it gets one more spin in, I think, for good measure. So it should be phase 3 coming up here. Yeah, phase 3 is now in effect for Shireen. Illis making their way through Ganon's tower. Oh, Illis taking a death. Ivy Flowers taking a death on the cold stare. That is never a good feeling.
And I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, that Shireen has a green potion, so that's why we were able to go ahead and use a little bit more magic, because we knew that we had some in reserve.
Oh, and I just noticed IE Flowers never got the KS Samaria. He thought it was on Cole's there.
Oh
And it's
no!
not. This is painful, and IE Flowers.
Shireen done.
But that's
Ganon
Shireen,
is dead.
Get your GG's in chat for Shireen, and all he's got to do to finish the seed is to get across a 1x3 bridge, and he will be done. And IE Flower is going to bring the pedestal.
Time.
And
Shireen finishing. I'm sorry.
Shireen is in first place with an official SRL time of 1:32.49 on the restream, and first overall. It also got a improved time by 24 minutes and 26 seconds, going down to the 140 club, the sub 140 club. Oh no! Oh, and the pedestal for IE Flowers. The IE Flowers found out that there's a sword on the pedestal. It's a vanilla pedestal. That is terrible news. And we're joined by Shireen. GG.
GG. That worked out better than planned, I suppose.
That was
for sure.
That was definitely a neck and neck race between you and Illis.
Where's Illis at?
It's on Ganon right now.
Oh wow. Okay. Like I felt pretty okay. Like I full cleared all of the overworld, and like once I got actually, like Ambrosia's very weird with how the skips work, like the way I play my skips. So like because I got the second item in Skullwoods without doing the front, I felt really good to like clear stuff. So I did the overworld and just started making dungeon skips. But it worked out. I mean, I didn't go into Eastern, I didn't do Left Side Swamp, I skipped the second item in Desert, and I didn't go into Caneless Mire, which in Ambrosia is horrible.
Oh yeah, no, you made excellent calls. Absolutely excellent calls on all of that. And just wondering, by the way, where do you think that the other swords were?
Well, considering I have some Ganon's Tower, I'm gonna assume there was one in GT, and I'm gonna assume I skipped one on Left Side Swamp.
You were actually incorrect about that one on Left Side Swamp.
Yeah.
So, do you know where the other two swords were?
We know one of them, and it's on the pedestal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was never gonna check that because Mire was cane locked. So like at 55 minutes, I was cane for go. So like at that point, I was just gonna clear what was on the way. Left Side Swamp was a tough call for me to skip. Like I had Pyramid Fairy, and all the water checks. So I'm like, I feel like I gotta make a skip at this point because I've done everything else. So like if I don't make a skip, I'm gonna end up full clearing this. And
if I may interject here, we did see that Illis has finished Get Your GGs in chat as well, finishing second on the restream, an official SRL time of 1:35.42. Good for third place overall, and just behind is Plasma Kappa is second place with a time of 1:35.09. I said your help because you're on the podium.
I'm gonna assume. I mean, I felt I played really well, but I'm still. Did Illis like do all of Eastern? What happened on it to him?
As far as I'm aware, Illis did not go into Eastern.
Okay. I mean, I felt my routing was very efficient, so I wouldn't be surprised if I got a few minutes just by doing, some stuff together. Like, I felt good about how I routed the water checks and Catfish. I got to skip the front of Skullwoods entirely because both items were in the back. And, I got the Hookshot pretty early. I felt good about that. Like, I was kind of following the Bouts tin, and I honestly didn't know Dark Death Mountain was Dark World. But the reason I did Smiths is I'm like, I'm going to go to Desert right next. So if I can get my Bouts in the Dark World, that'll be nice. So I went straight to do the Smiths. I already knew the Flippers were up there, so that definitely helped going back up there.
And we're joined by Illis. GG's to you.
GG.
Big GGs.
GG.
So, what did you
GG.
think about this seed as a whole?
Well, it was pretty free, except for the cane, of course, which was in one of the most stupid locations it could have. At least it wasn't in Eastern Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
And-
where you two started really kind of dividing, because you guys were neck and neck for a while, and I think where you guys really, where your run like started to divide each other, was when, for you, Illis, when you went back for the second time into into Desert Palace. That was when you guys were starting to diverge. But I think it was because you had checked Skullwoods and you had checked the front of it. And Shireen had actually opted to skip the entire front of Skullwoods.
I thought about it as well because it's Ambrosia and Mafila would have an item, but it would have also sucked to just go back to the front and after you beat Mafila and check everything from the back and the vanilla big T chest. In the end, I checked everything anyway. But yeah, that was definitely a time loss. I told myself I should have gone to the back first in the end because most of the time it's probably better. But I wanted to end my route anyway, so I figured I would check the front first. Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well.
okay. Calvin is heading over through GT, gone full left, and I Eat Flowers is back into Swamp Palace with the hookshot in hand.
Dark Magician was nice to see.
Yeah, it worked. It paid off well.
Yeah, it's a very extreme case in which Dark Magician actually saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
Calvin accidentally blowing up the hole there to head down, and then just had to quickly reset it so that he can get that one piece back. So he at least walk over and then check that to find the big key.
Yeah, fortunately, that room is not part of a super tile, so it's not part of that big super tile because that whole room with the invisible platforms is one big super tile, so he can reset the room just fine.
And we got Red Boomerang down in GT. Okay.
We also saw the King of Burna hanging out over on the fire snake room.
It looks like Calvin is finally going to check the full right side.
Yeah, Calvin opted to do right, left, right, right then left, then go for the right side. Eye Flowers looking to have looking to be having some trouble with
The
having a
diver
bit of trouble
down.
with the diver down setup. Yeah, but yeah, Eye Flowers got it. And Eye Flowers picked up the silver arrows from off of the Swamp Palace. So I guess for all we know, because we haven't seen a sword in GT. It could have been in the tile room for all I know.
Yeah, it could have been in the it could have been there, but we know that one of them was on pedestal. So the other one could still be Misery Mire too.
Yeah, locked behind Vitreous.
Did anyone go into Mire for that one item?
Eye Flowers did.
Oof. I'm assuming everyone had a Kane go mode or is looking for Kane. Cause outside of that, I mean, there wasn't too
Yeah,
much
it
that
was-
tucked away.
Yeah, it was just Kane go mode, and that was it.
I could see if you orphan the Smith, the hook shot didn't I mean, yeah. I think that's possible that you can do all that stuff. But
Yeah, and IE Flowers was in Ice Palace, but opted to go for Cold Zero and unfortunately took a death there. Didn't go, and he didn't have the hookshot by then, so I had to come back for that. So yeah, that was an IE Flowers still has to go to Ice Palace in order to finish this off. And as we're saying that Argus is down for IE Flowers.
Yep, because IE Flower still has to go back into Ice Palace to get the rod and then head up to Turtle Rock to collect the final crystal in order to get into GT. And it looks like Calvin is now starting the gauntlet.
Yeah, that's the big key was picked up from there. So for all we know, it could have. For all we know, that other sword could have been, the other sword could have been on, Vitreous, Tile Room, and we already know one of them is on the pedestal. Because as far as I'm aware, IE Flowers or Calvin had full cleared Ice Palace.
I think Flowers is thinking, you know what? Now that I have the hook shot, I'm gonna go check I'm gonna probably go check Spike Cave, and then we'll check no, okay, bringing out the mirror. Gonna go ahead, check out Super Bunny Cave and hook shot. Unfortunately though, oh no, I'm sorry, we're gonna check out Ether Tablet. Oh, maybe they're thinking that we actually missed something over here.
I don't know what I'm trying to think what IE Flowers may have missed over here. Because I'm for sure I know what he missed. He missed Hookshot Cave.
Oh, okay, yeah. So probably thinking that, you know what, Hookshot Cave has exactly what I need.
Yeah, because IE Flowers attempted to do a hover, but failed the hover and decided to just go for the flippers instead. Alright, Calvin finishing Wizrobes 1 and 2, on to Torches 1 and 2 through this bridge, and just IE Flowers only got the half magic out of it, and just still, like, doesn't know where, like, he's just figuring out, just asking himself, where is that cane? It's clear that he went to, I know IE Flowers went to Ice Palace, and looks like he's gonna head back.
He's probably thinking, you know what? I left it at Ice Palace. I bet you it's down there. Let's head back over there, because I know at least when I do some seeds sometimes, you know, I'll go ahead and think, oh, you know, I did tea room, when in fact I didn't.
Yeah, and I think IE Flowers was waiting for the hook shot to pop up, so that way he can go over to the hookshot block side. And that you could sequence break if through a bomb jump. It's a tricky bomb jump. It's a tricky bomb jump, but if you want to get the hookshot block side, then it's entirely optional. I actually was soft locked here, and I was soft locked my entire seed on Ice Palace because of I didn't know how I was soft locked because I used a key on the Switch door, and I ended up soft locking my entire seed because unless I knew the bomb jump of Hookshot Cave, because I think the hookshot everywhere else was on Ice Palace, or it was an ice, or whatever.
Ooh, Calvin almost fell. I'm sorry, he was very close to falling.
Good work for Calvin. And yeah, as far as I'm aware, that I didn't do the bomb jump, so you could sequence break it if that still happened. It wasn't a daily, and it was really bad to hear. It was a bad feeling. And
Yeah.
yeah, Calvin, on to Act 2.
The most recent time that I actually soft locked myself was actually on the hobo fake flippers.
Ugh.
And I found out very quickly, multiple times, how to soft lock and then how to avoid it. All right, so we got one hit so far on Aga 2. That looks like 2. So it looks like we may need just one more hit, if my math is right. Oh. There we go. Okay. Now we can start the Ganon. We can start going after Mr. Pig.
And IE Flowers is heading over to the Hookshot lock side of Ice Palace, and we'll eventually get the Canis and Maria. Calvin, yeah, as you're saying, is entering it right now. There it is, and IE Flowers is not happy about it whatsoever. He's now entering go mode, and it's just, yeah, that alone, I don't blame him whatsoever. Like, having to missing on that opportunity. Calvin is on the Ganon fight right now as we speak.
Yeah, good on I Eat Flowers, keep going on, not giving up. The essence of GG.
And IE Flowers is gonna get some potions for the Turtle Rock.
Calvin's still on are we going to phase 2? Nope. Still on phase 1 right now of the Ganon fight. And now we're in phase 2. I think Calvin is feeling happy now, just confirming with himself that, you know what, I do have some fairies, so if I die, it's not the end of the world. But we're gonna power on through this.
Yeah, Calvin has 18 hearts. This shouldn't be a big deal if Calvin takes a death here, and besides, he's also got fairies. And yeah, that's gonna be a death, but he's got fairies.
All right, and I Eat Flowers now entering into Turtle Rock.
And Calvin is making a slow climb through, slow progression through phase 2. This hopefully should be the last couple of cycles to finish it off. There's phase 3 right now.
Yep.
It's one spin in. There's another. And on to phase 4. No torch glitch, but it shouldn't really matter. He's got plenty of silver arrows to work with.
Trying for the double silver, which is a hard trick to do, by the way.
You have to set up for it just right, and it's not fun. No. But if you can do it, then it's really good. Didn't earn it. May have got a Stovless hidden? Nope. Okay, there's another chance to put the final skewers in. It's
Yep, we need one more. Ooh, and the torch is just going out.
has to be cautious here, but that's the other. That's plenty of fields for it. No, not enough. I think Silva was hit out of. I don't think that counted, but yeah, this is a tough fight for Calvin. All right, now he's stunned. Oh, missing a shot.
Oh.
He's got to be really cautious with those silver arrows. He's actually going for silverless strats. Preparing for the torches to light up again. Ivy Flowers had not gone for the big key. Stand by. Okay, we're good. All right, now we're back on.
Calvin's still trying to get that hit in.
But he's also running out of magic. It's very close to running out of magic. It's going for silverless spins instead. It's got plenty of it's got It's pretty.
There we go.
That's it. Finally.
Chat, get your GGs in for Calvin.
And we'll get the official time in very shortly. And this is just oh boy, he's got those silver. He gets one final shot in, and he'll be finishing third on the restream with an official SRL time of 1:55.35, and that's good for 6th place overall and a new PB for Calvin at just under 5 minutes. Now entering the sub 2 club. Just before Calvin had finished 8th Illis in 5th place with a time of 1:54.22 and another PB. Also joining the sub 2 club with Calvin 919 with a personal best improvement of 19:21. And Orange in 4th place with a time of 1:53.39 in 4th place. And Calvin, not wasting any time, is just gonna roll to the credits. And IE Flowers is on to Laser Bridge. And hello, Calvin. GG.
Hey, GG. Thanks.
So, what were your thoughts on the seed as a whole?
Well, it was fun to play, but for me, it was kind of weird because not because of the game or because of the randomizing, but because of my sprite that I tried out for this one. It felt really fat, like a bigger sprite than normal, you know?
And
I don't
for
know.
context, which sprite was it?
The Kenny McCormick sprite.
Oh, yeah, the kitty sprite.
It felt like I usually play Psyduck or any Pokemon or maybe Default Link, and then when I was looking through sprites earlier with a friend, and I was like, "Ooh, I didn't know they had a Kenny sprite. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna play this one." And then I'm like, from the get-go, I'm like, "Oh, I regret this because it just feels so weird." But other than that, the seed overall, besides of a couple gambles that I think I made, other than that, I feel like it went pretty good.
Yeah, and I was curious why you opted to go for Master Sword Solus spins during the Ganon fight when you had like 10 shots ready to go.
Those, like, I noticed that I was doing that. I guess it's just more muscle memory, you know, having to do a spin without, you know, silverless arrows, and I'm like, oh dude, can I just wait like 2 seconds and then you can hit this guy and then put an arrow in him. It was just more like silverless strats kicking in, you know, since we had Master Sword, you have to do spins anyway. If I had Temper Sword, I don't think that would have happened. But speaking, did anybody ever find another sword? I know there was one on pedestal.
No. And for what we're guessing is it could have either been a Misery Mire, and that could have been it.
Oof.
Or the last two parts of Misery Mire, or I think the last two couple checks of what was it? Ice Palace.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I found Ether, so it could have been either on Cold Stare, maybe, because I found Ether. And the K and Samaria was in there, which is my go mode. And then maybe Tile Room in GT, I didn't check that. Or the big chest, I guess, in GT.
Yeah, and IE Flowers was on the Cold Stare fights, but took a death. But it was wasn't really panning out well for because he was looking for Silver's he was looking for the Can Samaria as well.
Oh, okay. I mean, but other than that, the seed overall was, you know, pretty crazy. Other than doing Left Side Swamp and diving Eastern Palace, which opted nothing. I felt like, you know, you just follow, you know, breadcrumbs a little bit, clear out everything, and then you have to dive Ice Palace, unfortunately. But sometimes that happens in Randomizer, where an item that you need is inside a pendant dungeon.
Yeah, and with the GG from IE Flowers and from over in the dig spots, looks like IE Flowers has elected to form.
Oh, I could see that, you know, that this C can get a little bit out of control.
You know what it is, though? I mean, I listen, I think we've all been there. Anyone who's played any rando, whether, you know, it's Ambrosia, don't even get me started on cross key, you know, GG's to I Eat Flowers for, you know, he kept going until he was like, you know what, enough is enough. You know, we're done. I know there's no coming back from this. So GG, I Eat Flowers.
Yeah, valiant effort for him. And not talking about Valorant, because even though that game is fun to play, but It's taking over Twitch like really quickly, but we're talking about randomizer here, you know. And we're gonna get IE Flowers in for an interview as well. While I get the schedule up. And welcome aboard, IE Flowers, valiant effort, and GG.
Hello, GG.
Okay, so. I want to mic about that. Okay, Calvin.
Oh, my bad. Yes.
Okay, so the most important question that I have for you is what made you decide to go for Misery Mire over Ice Palace?
Okay, I had a really bad start in this race at all with death in Mini Moldum Cave in Paradox, and I felt terrible, and I just thought, okay, I take a stupid gamble with only one item I can reach in Misery Mire, and if it's going, I'm okay and make up a lot of time. But yeah, then I knew that the time will be terrible, and yeah, I tried everything before going back or going to Eastern Palace or doing Smith's Chain, and so yeah. But it was fun, yeah.
Yeah, it was at that point a 50-50, and before I realized that hadn't got the hookshot from off of the Smiths. But either way, it was still technically a 50-50 if you had done the bomb jump over on the hookshot luck side, so you can get access to it out of logic. But that would have been meant you would have done a hover seed, and yeah. So
yes, I thought about that. I had only 2 bombs and was thinking, oh, that's probably out of logic, and yeah. I decided for a no, and also had then that as Coles there, and yeah, then I raced it for fun.
yeah,
okay.
Totally respectable. But anyway, with that in mind, we should be wrapping this up here. So if you have any final thoughts, you can sound off right now.
No, it was fun. It was my first race, international race, here in the restream. I was a bit nervous there, but I will come back. Thanks, guys, and commentators, restreamer, tracker. Bye.
Take it easy.
Take care, and we look forward to seeing more of you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, and you should get every one of the race streamers, the races that you had a good, nice, hearty follow. IE Flowers, Calvin, and we also had Illis and Shareen on there. Give us a follow as well, doing !C and !R. For trackers, we had WinFox 470 and SoCal 2044 on duty for us, and I am Professor Render, and my co-com was Adnar. Coming up today on Speaking Gaming right now, we have, just starting right now, we have the Pac-Man World 2 2020 ND% tournament. We also, looks like we're also finishing up a bit of the Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer Spring Tournament on SG3, but also coming up on SG3, we have the Zelda 1 Randomizer Random Percent Tournament. And then we have as well the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Challenge Cup on Speaking number 2. If you want more Final Fantasy 1 action, we have some for you as well. We have the Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer Spring Tournament match on Speaking number 3. That was the next match coming after that one is Jacob versus Kalsubalu. I think that's how you say it. And if you want some Speak action, the next match, we just had a match not too long ago on Speak number 1, and that was the Land of the Blind versus A Link to the West Coast. And next match coming up there is Team 63 and a half and a third versus the Hatal Rumis. Reg versus Jade Misha. Definitely don't want to miss out on that. That's going to be on Speaking number 1. Speaking number 4, we have Glowing versus Chimo and we're going in with the teams Broken Triforce SW Big Skip. Squad was Big Skip. And then we have Team Rebetted team names and Grouchy Old Men, Adirondack Rick versus Verts. And then to wrap things up for the rest of the night, we have the Longshots versus the U10 Clan, Tyro Cell versus Saru, and Team Kappa and But We're Buddies, Gamachu versus Chelsea X Lin. And for the rest of the tournament, the rest of the day as well, we do have for the Final Fantasy 1 Spring Randomizer Tournament, Ragnarok 1, Ragnarok 74 versus JLo 7. That's going to be on Speed Gaming number 3. Check out the Speed Gaming channels. Follow the Speed Gaming channels if you want to look at the schedule as well. Look at the look down below. You should have find a link to the schedule as I'm seeing it right now. And if you want to follow all the Speed Gaming channels, like I'm going to say right now, definitely do so. We have Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, along with the multilingual channels, Spanish, Dutch, French, and Portuguese. And with that, may all your seeds be not ped seeds. Always assume the pedestal was dead until proven otherwise. And stay safe. And I'm off to play Valorant. Take it easy, everybody.
Bye, guys.